Good morning, Spiritual Life Center. Welcome to the SLC Sunday Experience. We are so glad that you're here with us today, and we are going to celebrate. We want you to know that your soul is welcome here.
That's right. You're in the right place at the right time, just where you are meant to be. And we're going to sing about it. Here we go.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. In the right place. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh, my soul. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
My soul is welcome. Your soul is welcome. All souls are welcome here.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. Oh, my soul is welcome. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome.
I'm getting the message.
I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here.
Put your hands together.
My soul is welcome here. 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 My soul is welcome. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
Good morning, Reverend Deborah. Good to see you and everyone else this morning.
Good Reverend, morning.
What they call it also, the good right reverends.
Good morning, Reverend James. And we greet you this morning in the name of all that is good, all that is holy, and all that is sacred, and in the warm and loving energy of this community, Spiritual Life Center. Spiritual Life Center honors all people worshiping in temples, mosques, churches, stone circles, and the beautiful, beautiful temples of nature, because we know that there is no space that God does not grace. And if this is your very first time with us today, either live streaming or here in the sanctuary, we especially want to welcome you because we know that you are not here by accident. Every single one of us is here by divine appointment. And we're so excited to have you with us today. And we're always really pleased when you silence your electronic devices and also wear your mask correctly.
So let's take a moment in this silent, secret place that we have a clear connection to the presence. Recognizing that we're living and moving and having our being in something that is beyond words, but is so real. This presence that we rest assured in contains everything we could ever hope for, want, or desire. It has the peace that passes all understanding, and we are one with it. It exudes and radiates love in which we all come from. It includes all the powers of health and healing and vitality and vigor. the vision of possibilities for ourselves and for the entire human race. For we recognize that it all comes from recognizing that we are magnificent, unrepeatable spiritual beings, all here for a divine purpose. And as we let that purpose be the activity of our awareness in thought, word, and action, we begin to move ourselves individually and collectively from where we are to where we can be when we are at our highest and our best. So we remind one another of the truth, knowing that it's the truth that liberates us and sets us free. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. Of course, our purpose of Spiritual Life Center is found in our mission statement. And we invite you to join in as we affirm that statement together. To transform lives as we love, serve, and remember. And we carry out that mission as we fulfill to the best of our ability the 5 basic unity principles which underlie our teachings in some capacity or another. If someone asks, what does unity believe in? We can say the following. God is absolute good and everywhere present. People are inherently good. Thoughts create our experiences. Prayer and meditation are how we connect with God. We must take action. And we have some action coming up soon called our Gala. And we're going to have our operations manager, Elaine Aroa, say a few words about what that is about. It's going to be November the 19th. So listen to Elaine.
Good morning. How many of you are just kind of done with COVID?
I'm way done.
Yeah, right? Well, if you'll remember last year, our celebration, our Light the World celebration, was 100% recorded online. And this year, which is you're getting used to hearing it from Spiritual Life Center, we're going to have a hybrid. Because why? Because some of you want to come and party, and we want to come party with you. And others of you are really still at the comfort of your own home. And we're going to make that happen this year because I want to emphasize the word celebration. There is so much to be grateful for. And as you know, in prior years, we would always have Light the World Gala. We started that in 2018, our 20th anniversary. And we started by every year having an honoree. And maybe you won't remember that, but the 2018 was when our community giving program reached $1.5 million. So we spotlighted at the gala a video of all the things we've done in the past 20 years to help them. The next year, you might recall, was Dave and Rachel Lyman were receiving on behalf of our interfaith programs because we started as an interfaith ministry. And then the next year, we went on to have that in the next 2020, that hit COVID. And instead, we didn't get to celebrate. What we showed was our resiliency. Did we not? We had a wonderful time learning about what we are and all the amazing stories. And all the way along the way, our gala is our annual fundraiser that helps make all of these things happen. And every year we're going to do that. This year, I'm happy to announce, and I'm going to do it a little bit. Maybe some of you don't even know. But our honoree, Light the World honoree this year, will be SLC's music team and our AV production. They will be our special guests that evening. We will spotlight all the ways that they have helped us connect with you and all of you around the world during this time of COVID. So imagine this, it's going to be Academy Awards versus merged with Mystic Cafe. So this is going to be, we are not going to be at UU at our normal venue because it will not be a full sit-down dinner. We're going to have a reception cocktail hour, and we're going to have some appetizers, and this is going to transform into our Mystic Cafe. And then we're going to have the presenters actually come up here as in the Academy Awards. Well, you can see what people dress up like to come to honor the presentations. And we're going to actually spotlight the very parts of Spiritual Life Center that make us who we are. And we're going to celebrate the heck out of that. And because our special music ministry is here, and as you know, we have a national award-winning Posy award winners, music director, and along with our AV team, the wonderful and incomparable Karen Drucker multiple Poesy Award winner, will be our guest this evening to be able to do the honors of presenting that Poesy Award presentation. So it is going to be amazing, and there will be raffle opportunities, and we'll give you a chance to just say, yes, I want to support Spiritual Life Center. There'll be no cost to you who watch us online. There'll be a small cost for you here because we're going to have an open bar and appetizers. But outside of that, save your donations for that evening or online because we do have a goal. We want to finish this year in the black. And we have done that, y'all. This will be year 3 for us in the midst of all of this. As centers have been closing, we have been thriving. And this is the opportunity. Let's do it big. So again, mark that time, November 19th. You'll be seeing more from me in a direct email about all the ways you can participate. Raffle items, auction items, or just be here. Guess what? The bar's already taken care of. 3 people, the first volunteers. We got the bar covered. So we just need a few more servers and everything else is going to be amazing. But I love you all. Let's celebrate this community. Spiritual Life Center. We light the world. Let's do it on November 19th.
Thank you, Elaine.
So each month, you may have noticed that we have a community giving update. We have a board of trustees update, and today we have a center update. Now, what we decided to do for this first center update, because it took us a while to figure out what that really meant, but each Sunday, you know, we tell you about 1 or 2 really special things that are happening. But of course, there's so many more things that are going on here. And we also realized that we were closed for so long that some of the small groups and stuff might have sort of faded out of people's consciousness a little bit. So I'm going to talk today about small groups and programs. A small group is initiated and led by a community member. They're vetted through the Abundant Community Team, and some of them meet on site, and some of them meet elsewhere. And some of our groups are, let's see, A Course in Miracles with Sally Sion. Now, they meet on Mondays from 6:30 to 8 p.m., and what Sally says is if you want more peace in your life, consider attending this weekly text study group. You do not need to buy your own book to attend. They have extras to share. On Tuesdays, now this one isn't going to start until January, but keep it in mind. With Claire, it's Tuesday AM with Claire Kinsley. They meet from 10 to 11:30 in the morning. And this is a revamp of Claire's book club that she's had for about 5 years now, I think. So she's branching out and probably going to be some different things just besides books. And then on Wednesdays, there are topics from the Urantia book with Monty Richardson. Now, they meet on Wednesdays from 4 to 5:30 p.m. The Urantia book is difficult to read and understand, so Monty started this group to give those interested in this book a place to discuss and discover the many aspects of the book. On Thursdays, there's The Power of Silence with Reverend Janae Marth, and they meet on Thursdays from 6 to 7 p.m. If you're looking for a way to know the truth of your own being and you have a difficulty being in silence alone, you're invited to come together with your spiritual community in a practice of silence. They meet weekly, and they take a deep, deep dive into silence together. Also on Thursdays, the second Thursday of the month is Lavender Lights. And they meet, from 7:30 to 9, and they reach out to the LGBT individuals who are searching for connection and friendship through fellowship, social activities, and community outreach. Raising Our Social Consciousness book group is sort of self-explanatory. They read different books that address social consciousness and raising awareness. And so they meet on Fridays 2 to 3:30 p.m. Women of Spirit. Now, Women of Spirit is coordinated by Ellen Springwind, and they meet on the first Saturday of the month from 10 a.m. to noon. This women's group believes that we are all teachers and we are all students. It is an interfaith group that explores a specific topic each month with a variety of presenters. And no, you don't need to be a member to attend. Every month we get questions. Do I have to be a member of SLC to attend? Do I need to be a member of the group to attend? No, if you're a woman, you can come to Women of Spirit. And then there's Men of Spirit. Men of Spirit is coordinated by Rick Mercer and Paul Sanchez, and they meet on the third Saturday of the month from 9 to 10 a.m. Rick and Paul also invite different guests to help men share practical ways to apply spiritual principles that they face in today's world. Now, a program is a little bit different. A program is presented by SLC and facilitated by staff members or others who are appointed by leadership teams. Most of those programs went dormant during the lockdown, but some of them are slowly coming back. Notable programs currently active are Youth Education with Reverend Janae Marth and the Interfaith Explorers with Rachel and Reverend Dave Lyman. They managed to keep it going throughout almost everything. And finally, we are excited to announce that our Unity Prayer Service has reconvened. We were doing this at 11:45 on Thursdays, where we would just go in to the chapel and sit together and go through the Unity Prayer Service. Obviously, that stopped for a while, but we have started that again. It is now from noon to 12:30 in the chapel, and it is a deeply moving prayer experience, so feel free to stop by on Thursdays at noon to pray with us. Now, please notice that I have not been specific about where these groups are meeting because some people are meeting by Zoom, some people are meeting here, and then, of course, something will happen and that will all change again. So go to the website, and if you go to the website and go down to small groups, you will be able to get the details about where each group is meeting, or you can at least find out how to contact the person who is running the group, and they can tell you. That is the center update. And as always, you can get details about all our happenings on our website at slcworld.org.
Thank you, Rev, for bringing us up to date. We have a lot going on here. I want to acknowledge any of our board of trustees that are present this morning. They stand, and any of our chaplains that are present. The chaplains that are present are wearing the white stoles, and they're available to pray with you if you're going through any kind of challenge or just want to celebrate something. They'll also pray for that to bring up even more energy, and they're available to pray with you right after the service, either here in the sanctuary or in the courtyard. So we thank them for their prayer consciousness and the work that they do here at Spiritual Life Center. And our board of trustees do the very important work of really helping us move forward with our strategies and ideas to help Spiritual Life Center become vibrant as we move into this new era of life. And they bring their skills, their talents, their consciousness, and all of their being to help us do what we do here today. So we thank them for their service, and they're available to answer questions that you may have about our center that come to your mind. So thank you, board members, for the work that you are doing as well.
And we love to greet our newcomers. So in a moment, we will ask those of you here, if you're here for the very first time, to raise your hand. But first, we want you to know that there are many ways to become connected at SLC and learn about those small groups and programs by filling out the welcome card that we will give you. Now, you can fill that card out online, or if you're here in the sanctuary, you can fill it out when we give it to you, take it out to the welcome table, and they will have a very special gift and a warm welcome for you.
So if anyone's here for the first, any first-timers here this morning, just raise your hand. Oh, we got a couple up front here, at least one here, and some right there too, my right, left. We thank you for your presence. We affirm your wonderful expression that you are. We invite you to wear the purple ribbon if you want to get a special Spiritual Life Center greeting. And you can, like Reverend Deborah said, you can fill out the card either here or online and be informed as to what's going on at the community on a regular basis. So we thank you, we appreciate you, and we affirm the magnificence that you are. And at this time, we just invite folks to greet our newcomers or each other in a way that feels comfortable for you, and know that you are marvelous. Just let somebody know you're marvelous.
Please be seated. I know you're used to standing up, but we're just going to ask you to go ahead and take your seat for this song. We're going to sing our Faith in Action tune for the third week. I know you're becoming familiar with it, so whatever you feel comfortable singing with us, please join in. Please be seated. We're such a social group.
Yes, we are. Yes. That's good. That's good. Hold on. All right, ready?
Everybody has a story, unique in all their own. Points of perception feature characters and roles. When we start to name it, and we learn to play it, tumbling from the heavens, feeling all alone. These voices live inside my head, the storyteller's lies, dreams of illusion, flowing back to ancient time. Castle-like distortions, bending what is true. Starry nights and moonlit skies are calling out to you. Look to the beauty all around and inside you. Know the truth of who you are. Every being, all creation, we are a part, reflections of the one light. Love from source, straight to your heart. There are no wrong emotions. What you feel is real. All is perfection, seeking to reveal. Look to the beauty all around and inside you. Know the truth of who you are. Every being, all creation, we are a part, reflections of the one light. Love from source, straight to your heart. Look to the beauty all around and inside you. Know the truth of who you are. Every being, all creation, we are a part, reflections of the one light. Love from source, straight to your heart. Look to the beauty. Look to the beauty. It's all around and inside you.
look to the beauty and even more beauty as I invite our artists to come forward. As you know, each year we have our Faith in Action series based upon a text. And each week we have artists come forward to give a pictorial representation of the topic for the week. And so we have two wonderful artists today. And I'm going to start with Louise Bizark. She's right, many of you know her, of course. She was on our staff for many years, a backbone of our community. Yes. And this is her artwork, and I'm going to read what she wrote. In nature, all plant and animal life are what they are in any given moment. The ginkgo tree, being one of nature's living fossils due to its age and ability to be just what it is for so long, is an example of timeless non-resistance. You can never be what you are not. You are you right now, and it's effortless. So, we too, as little children, are as close to being in the now as the ginkgo tree. The illustration of falling golden ginkgo represents the now moment of the tree's annual cycle. Imagine how perfectly we can be in the moment as a seemingly individuated branch of humanity, effortlessly living authentically. With no stories about what we are not, we are free to live our human cycles as is the magnificent ginkgo biloba. And Louise wrote an amendment because there were some unexpectancies along the way. As I was completing a simple interior painting application, after turning in this statement, the moisture of the paint and the porosity of the interior of the gourd caused it to expand significantly. The gourd started to creak and pop, and in one loud pop, it exploded open on many cracks. Instead of throwing it away or a ding the project, as we might normally consider it now imperfect, I chose to keep working with it to see what could emerge. Imperfection is not a reason to stop or give up on something or someone. While it's not what I preferred it to be, in some ways it is better than expected. It may speak to someone in a special way, or may choose to use the parts to create something unexpected. It can never be what it is not, but it is what it is right now, perfectly imperfect. So this is Louise's artwork. And that's our symbolic representation of this week's topic, the illusion of perfection or imperfection, depending upon which title you pick out. And now we have Wanda Mcguire. And Wanda Mcguire's piece is entitled Two Paths, and this is what Wanda wrote. With her spirit garden, our child finds love, happiness, and freedom as God intended. Her relationship with life is exhilarating yet filled with peace. She looks for the beauty in everything. She's filled with joy as her parents cherish her presence. The path she is on at this time of her life is filled with promise. She believes herself to be a whole, perfect, and complete. Then a new baby comes, and the parents are elated. They hope that their little girl will be happy as well. But those hopes are dashed when their daughter starts acting out because she is jealous of the new arrival. They do not know how she feels. They do not know that she feels she is being replaced. No one says anything to her that would lead to this thinking. No one treats her any differently than before. But within her own mind, she is convinced that she must prove herself worthy of their love. As Don Miguel says, and our principles teach, our thoughts create our experiences. So our child enters a new path of jealousy, grief, rebellion, and an obsession with proving her worth. Later in life, she starts to learn that what she told herself was all lies. And when she stops believing those lies, she comes full circle. She is on her swing, feeling the exhilaration and peace of her garden. Our child finds love, happiness, and freedom as God intended. Two Paths by Wanda Mcguire. Thank you.
I invite us now to speak out loud our vision statement together. Spiritual Life Center is a loving, vibrant family that welcomes home all people and accepts everyone, no exceptions, weaving ancient spiritual traditions with emerging wisdom. We cultivate a spiritual deepening with the divine, each other, and our planet.
And now, in preparation for meditation, I invite you to take a nice deep breath and just settle in. And let these words be your words. Spirit in me. Please join us in singing. Spirit in me. Live out in the open. Shine through my life like the sun. Give of your goodness. Conquer the darkness. Spirit of light and love. Spirit, 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 Spirit in me. Spirit, Spirit in me. Live out in the open, shine from my life like the sun. Give of your goodness, conquer the darkness, Spirit of light and love. Spirit, 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 Spirit in me. Give through me, speak through me, move through me, love through me. Oh Spirit, oh Spirit, Spirit, Spirit in me. Oh Spirit, oh Spirit, Spirit, Spirit in me.
Give through me, move through me, speak through me, love through me. Let us take these few moments to turn within, releasing any concern for the outer world. And use your breath to release any tension. Drop your shoulders, loosen your hands. Relax your eyelids. As you breathe naturally, your consciousness floats into a light daydream of being in the high desert. You stand on a very high mesa. Here the air is clean and clear. The sun is warm and comforting. It is quiet, still. To your right is a beautiful little park with shade trees and white benches, the perfect place for meditation. But your attention is caught by the rumbling sounds of flowing water. Intrigued, you turn and walk toward the sound of the river. The air is so still and quiet, you can even hear the smallest sounds of a tiny bird rustling in the low shrubs, small lizards scurrying from rock to rock. Just being in this environment has a healing effect. Along the river, the shrubs are bigger and more abundant, and the river is loud and rambunctious. A large, smooth rock juts out over the river, a perfect place to sit and rest. You feel comforted by the smoothness of the rock, admire the beautiful colors woven through it, and you wonder how much water passed over a stone this large to make it this smooth. How long did it take for this rock to become so amazing? What did it feel like? In your imagination, you become this rock. Water flows over and around you. At times it is gentle, caressing, other times furious and raging, tugging at you, pulling off little bits. But you are always still you. No matter the state of the water, the temperature, the velocity, your you-ness remains. And you realize that those tiny bits are not you. They are only the concerns and distractions of the material world, and the water moves them up and away, healing you, cleansing you. Allow the water now to flow over and through you in the silence. This is a glorious moment. The atmosphere is quiet and holy. The sun, the river, the sounds of the animals, the smoothness of the rock heal you, enlighten you. In gratitude for the insight that the joys and trials of this life do not take anything away from you, take a deep breath and begin to return to your earthly body. And please receive this blessing. Oh, my beloved, water, silence, life flow over and around you. Please do not fear the raging waters or love overly much the gentle ones. They do the same work of smoothing out your edges, softening you, keeping you holy, bringing out the very best in you. Remember this, always.
stones are smooth. Only once the water passes through. So I am a stone, rough and grainy still, trying to reconcile this river's chill. And when I close my eyes and feel you rushing by, I know that time brings change, and change takes time. And when the sunset comes, my prayer will be this one, that you might pick me up and notice that I am just a little smoother in your hand. Sometimes raging wild, sometimes swollen high. Never have I known this river dry. The deepest part of you is where I want to stay until the sharpest edges wash away. And when I close my eyes and feel you rushing by, I know that time brings change, and change takes time. And when the sunset comes, my prayer will be just one, that you might pick me up and notice that I am just a little smoother in your hand, rolling river god, little stones are smooth, only once the water passes through.
I think if you're in touch with any aliveness, you couldn't help but feel the depth of that song. Thank you, Ann. You made that song your own. Rolling River God. You know, some of those words remind me that I think we're all a little smoother when we allow Spirit to wash over us. Because it reminds us of who we are and where we come from and what our real identity is. Well, this is our third week of our Faith in Action series based upon Don Miguel Ruiz's book, The Voice of Knowledge. In a nutshell, we're making a distinction between knowledge, which is often changeable, what we get from the outside world, what we told ourselves, and sometimes they cause us to shape our perceptions about life, as opposed to what truth is, which comes from the all-knowing, ever-present, something we call spirit or the force, and it is changeless, or is even beyond this dimension, and reflects that part of us that can never be hurt, that can never be harmed, that can never be endangered in any way. And this week our topic is the illusion of perfection, although we have some debate on whether the actual topic is the illusion of perfection, the illusion of imperfection. But anything that we make up in our own minds is an illusion, so it doesn't really matter what the topic is. And I always tell people it doesn't matter what the title is. I'm going to say what I want to say anyway. But Don Miguel reminds us that we start out in life where we have this pure, unalterable understanding of life, no filters at all. That somewhere along the line we start creating stories. We qualify everything. You know, this is right and this is wrong. This person is good or bad, or that's good or bad. This is beautiful or not beautiful. I mentioned earlier that earlier in my spiritual path, I did a great deal of work in the Course in Miracles. And the real work is in doing the exercises at the end of the book for each chapter. And I can recall when I first started taking it, there was a question or a statement that says, "This is not a chair." And I didn't quite understand what they were trying to get to until later on I realized that we've decided to name and decide every experience that we have. And I've been following a little bit about, the saga regarding Safe Facebook lately, which I have a love-hate relationship with. That's my story. That's my perception. Let's be clear. Because on one hand, it has the potential to really to bring the world together, to set together a common vision of what's possible for humanity. But right now it's being used primarily as a vehicle in many cases to create more division rather than a sense of unity. But that's another story. The relevant story, at least to the talk today, is social media platform. I don't know if you follow these things. I sometimes follow them because, my son tells me about all the different social media platforms that I have no idea about. But they were talking about Instagram, and according to the documents that they have, that Facebook had conducted some surveys, and they had done some focus groups, in which people were asked to report how they thought they had been affected by using this particular social platform, this particular app. And one of the findings was that 3 out of 10 adolescent girls reported that Instagram made them feel worse about themselves because all they see are images what appear to be perfection. People have perfect lives and flawless pictures of other people and a flawlessness or manufactured image of perfection that they believe they can never reach. No one can. And reportedly, sadly, in several of the individuals they found, and it took their lives because they felt they could not measure up to that image. And according to one of the former employees who had worked there, that, this company had hid the research showing that some teenagers felt worse about themselves after using its products. But of course, they didn't bring that out into the open. There's obviously, as I look at things critically, there's some flaws in the research. There's no control group that proves that the viewing of the images actually led to people feeling bad about themselves. We don't know whether it made any more harm to them or not. But even if they're anecdotally true, it does confirm what Don Miguel Ruiz writes in his book. It gives a subtle but clear message about the illusion of perfection. That is somehow, some way we buy into a false story of what perfection is. Based upon what's on social media, based upon what's on the TV, based upon what's in other media, we may end up believing there must be something wrong with us because we do not meet this made-up standard of perfection. It's an illusion. It's an illusion of perfection. It's an illusion that has been created by other people. because we make up a story that says in some way, shape, or form, I'm not good enough, or it's not okay to be me. But as I was saying earlier, we gotta be me. As that song says, I gotta be me. I gotta be me. But what else can I be but what I am? I'm not as good as Sammy Davis Jr., but he used to sing that song. I'm dating myself quite a bit. But the real me and the real you is all right with the presence and the power and the love of God because it's all good. As I pointed out, there's an allegorical story in the Hebrew Bible, in the book of Genesis. And as they go through the story of creation, which is an allegory, which is a symbol, it named everything good, everything magnificent. And that includes you and that includes me because that is the nature of God. That is the nature of good. And that same nature is also within each and every one of us. Indeed, we are surrounded by this dynamic, magnificent presence. It's everywhere present in its fullness, no flaws in it. And we are spiritually made in the image and likeness of it, and we are a composite spiritual idea from the mind of God, meaning that everything God has ever thought, and God only thinks in magnificent, whole soul, spiritual ideas. Everything God has ever thought is within each and every one of us. So we can never be more or less than this divine image and likeness in which we have been created. Now, we may identify with less. We may express less, but we can never be less. And when we express and identify with less, it's because we somehow bought into a story or a series of stories that's longer than the Harry Potter series. And that's a long series. There's a lot of pages in those books. Then we turn those stories into movies of our own making. You know, our life experience is simply our opinion many times, our concepts, our beliefs, our perceptions about life. And oftentimes we project that on our screen of our experience. And that movie is often in accord with the agreements that we have made with life. You know, that's what something I think Don Mcguire points out in his book. We've made an agreement. I remember years ago I went to a mentor. I was, trying to figure out why everything was going wrong and what was wrong with all those other people. And if they would just change the world and my life would be better. Because every time I would run into things that were just problematic, and mostly they were the problematic people. And he said to me that, you're playing every part, James. You're directing it, you're providing all the resources and the energy. You've written a script based upon your belief, based upon your concept, based upon your opinion, and you're playing everything. And the things that you don't want to play, you project on a villain and you think it's someone else, but it's you. You just don't want to take that responsibility. I don't know if anybody can relate for that. It's always us. So we create a horror movie and a villain and a bad girl and a bad guy and saying, I'm going to save myself from that person. And all of this stuff that we may be going through. But in the end, it's you. You're playing all the parts in this particular movie, and it goes on and on and on. And you're caught up in some sort of psychodrama and have forgotten that you're playing all the roles. You're coming up with all the roles, and you play them so well. They need to give you an Academy Award because you have played them so well, and you project them onto other people. And somehow you believe if you could just change all those bad people, life is going to be okay. But you know what? Dracula keeps coming back. I don't know, the movie just keeps coming back. You kill that bad boy, you change locations, you change jobs, you move to another city. There he is again. And there she is again. And we bring out the garlic. He said, maybe this will work. We have the cross, and we get all kinds of superstitious sayings that we start saying, all of those things that are going on. They were trying to get rid of that. But Dracula keeps showing up because we're playing them so well. We just forgot. We're projecting this movie, and we're projecting this drama onto other folks outside of us. So here we are in a movie and a story of our own making. We're playing every part. Some parts we forgot. Some parts we may remember, at least partially we may remember them. But the idea is that we want to move from the story, which Don Miguel Ruiz calls the voice of knowledge, and this voice of knowledge comes from what after you've heard me say before, comes from the school of MSU. Many of us have gone to the school of MSU, even if you've never gone to school, because that school is called making stuff up. Making stuff up, that's the school of MSU. And to what's real, of course, is the truth that's beyond our perceptions. So we have to pay undistractable attention to that which is real and waking up and realize this is why we are here, to face this unalterable, unchanging self. And we can pull ourselves out of this movie experience and stand in the awareness that you and I are standing on holy ground. And we can get in alignment with what it is, so it becomes the activity of our awareness. We can really be in tune with that truth and let that express our life. So we may ask, how can we facilitate this? How can we get in alignment with this process and get out of the movies of our own making that are not serving us? Well, I often believe that it starts by describing and declaring the right things about ourselves. It always starts with us. So you want to get up in the morning every day, look in the mirror, and say something to the effect, God, let me know the truth about me, no matter how awesome it is. It doesn't matter how wonderful it really is. Let me know the truth about me, no matter how beautiful it may be, no matter how magnificent it may be. And when we begin to do that, we begin to challenge and unravel the stories and the false perceptions that we may have about ourselves, that others may have told us that we've somehow begun to believe. One of the definitions of ego, sometimes in some circles they say ego means edging God out. Another definition is an accumulation, I should say, of unexamined perceptions. Unexamined perceptions that we don't really look at. And throughout the course of our day, we may be in a high resolve when we're affirming that, God, show me who I am. And when we're doing that, we're contemplating the content of our consciousness and what's really flowing through. We can see those flawless thoughts coming through our awareness through the course of the day. And if we examine them closely, we'll become aware that sometimes the ego has a hold on us. Not the spiritual part of us. There's nothing wrong with an ego, but it's unspiritualized. And we examine our perceptions. And we examine those stories that sometimes just flow through our awareness. And then after they flow through our awareness, they begin to flow out of our mouth. And after they flow out of our mouth, they flow into our conversations. And then it becomes our perception and how we see life. And then they flow into our experiences. And then we may ask, why have I gotten myself in this mess that I am in? Well, we start blaming the other people for the mess that we've gotten in. We may blame society. We may blame the government. We may blame God. We may blame all of that. But it came out of our own mouth by the power of our own tongue. It just came up and said, zoop, started speaking. The mouth became a curse through which our particular experience in our life was rather than a blessing. So what we want to do, we want to examine these unexamined perceptions. And we want to begin to notice what's speaking through you and me at times. And we'll have to have an unexamined perceptions closely checked out and see where we're believing in lack and believing in limitation, believing in not enoughness, believing in not being good enough. That seems to be a common theme. I hope when people are doing extremely well, but there's always something they say, I'm not good enough in this particular area. And we'll notice those in our conversations. And even before we walk out the door in the morning, those beliefs, those misconceptions, those voices that come in our head are snagged us before we've begun our day. And these unexamined perceptions just move through us, and we'll say things like, oh, life is hard, and then you die. Or sometimes they'll come out of our just body temple in our mouth, and we'll walk out and say, you can't win for losing. Or it comes out, sometimes it just like sneaks in our mouth, and we say, everywhere I go, nothing seems to turn out right. Or we may say, I take one step and the next shoe drops and it's always a negative one on the top of my head. It just flows out of our mouth. And then, of course, if we find a co-conspirator or several co-conspirators in this belief, oh, we have a 4-part harmony going on. We have a whole bunch of people coming up and saying, yeah, I know what you're saying, James. Everywhere I go, it's just terrible. If I didn't have bad luck, I wouldn't have any luck at all. All those things are unexamined perceptions. So during the course of our day, we look at those perceptions. We examine them closely. We challenge them. We confront them. And we say, this is not true. Don Miguel said they're lies. And one of the biggest lies is that we're imperfect and there is something wrong with us. You know, Louise had her gourd that, cracked and, brought a perfection to what appeared to be imperfection. And it kind of goes along with this story about a disciple. And this disciple decided that, he had been greatly benefited by his teacher. And he wanted to give something back to his teacher. And so he decided to bring 2 jugs filled with fresh water to his teacher every single day. And he went to the top of the mountain at the beginning of the day, and he went down at the end of the day. But one of the jugs had a flaw. One of the jugs had a crack in it. And when he got to the top of the mountain, one jug was filled to the brim with water, and there was a flawed jug that was only half full. But day in and day out, year in and year out, after several years, the jug that was cracked, that had the flaw in it, spoke up. It's so allegorical, but please be in mind. And the jug that was flawed and cracked said to the disciple, I'm so sorry. I know you wanted to bring a full jug of fresh water to your teacher. And every single day I leaked out this water, so I let you down. And the disciple went to the jug and said, turn around and look. Look down the side of the mountain. And we saw all these wonderful, magnificent flowers that were on the side of the mountain. And the jug said, well, that's all well and good. Sounds really nice. But what does that have to do with me? What does that have to do with my shortcomings? What does it have to do with my imperfections? And the disciple said that every day as I went up to the mountain, I would drop seeds along the side of the mountain, knowing that the water would spill out to water those seeds. And after a while, not only was I able to bring fresh water to my teacher, I was also able to bring fresh flowers to him every single day. So your so-called imperfection was a demonstration of the perfection of the power and the presence and the love of God that is perfect in each and every one of us. There's a metaphysician from England. He passed away, but his name is Judge Thomas Chord. And he had a statement that said, if you want to know the limitless nature of this grand universe that we're in, know that you are at the center of it, and there's nothing that you can do to add to its efficiency. You and I are here to be the center of this presence, to be on display. And like all of nature in our own way, we're here to glorify through our soul, to magnify and multiply the all good that is around us. Understand that this presence multiplies itself as you and as me. It's never dividing itself from us. It is saying in substance, go forth and multiply the good. Let your soul magnify the Lord, which is the great law of life. As Don Miguel points out in this week's chapter, everything in God's creation is perfect. If we don't see the perfection, it's because our attention is focused on our story. And we want to wake up every day and say, this is a new moment. This is a new moment in my life. This is a new opportunity. This is a new way to open up and focus on God's perfection that is within me. And I'm going to take these 24 hours and I'm going to shape them into a holy story of the all good to reflect this presence, this power that we call God. When we begin to do that, we will stop falling into the paint, forgetting that we are the artist. We will stop falling into the vat of clay, forgetting that we are the great sculptures of our life. We will fall into oftentimes when we fall into the pain or fall into the vot, we get caught up in the stories from the external world that we begin to accept as true, and we forget that we're being fueled all the time by this truth from other dimensions, these higher frequencies of good that are everywhere present, and that we're living in a perfect spiritual energy field right now. It's always there. And when we live there, we're no longer limiting the isness of God by claiming that we don't have enough, that we don't know enough, that we are not enough, this or that. That right here, right now, we can declare, I am the full expression of this one presence. I'm able by this divine presence within me to do all things that are appointed for me to do in this lifetime. There's always something perfect for us. I think this is the real mandate that we must follow. And never again will we allow our history or made-up stories to interfere with our destiny. Never again. Because a history is history. A story is a story. But a destiny is something God has written on our hearts that we're here to express in our own unique way. And it can never be erased until it is fulfilled. It says that heaven and earth shall pass away. Things may come, things may go. Life is changeable in the external world, but the truth shall never pass away. This word of truth is the word of the force. It's the word of love. It's the word of intelligence. It's the word of God that recreated itself in its image and likeness as our life, and it can never go away. That's the word that God sees. That's what God sees when we are seen at our highest and best. And what we are experiencing and can experience when we choose to is freedom and joy and ecstasy and bliss and love and infinite supply and beauty and creativity and freedom and extension of God's activity. So I say, don't put yourself down because you don't meet the illusion of perfection made up by somebody else that's on some sort of social media. Lift yourself up and watch as the entire universe responds to the vibration within your soul, because it is the law of life. It is that truth, that loving energy that binds everything together. It is good. We are one with this energy, and that is the real perfection. So it is. Peace and blessings to you. Each week we invite you to take an affirmation and just hold that in your awareness throughout the week. And so it's on our screen, and I invite you to join in as we affirm it together. I open to infinite perfection. I am an instrument through which the divine expresses. And that's the truth. At this time of those, and also next week, Reverend Deborah is going to be here, and her talk is going to be on the stories we tell, continuing on the theme in our Faith in Action series from the book from Don Miguel Ruiz, and the color is green for those who wish to know. Some want to know, what's the color next week? So at this time, for those who happen to be online, we invite you to support this work of Spiritual Life Center. And you can do so by texting SLC Love to 44321. That's SLC Love to 44321. Or you can go to our website, slcworld.org, click the Donate tab, and you can give in other ways, including us sending a check by mail, if that's your preferred way of supporting this work. And you can also continue to spread the word of who and what we are by, depending upon what platform you're on, YouTube, Facebook, click the like button, subscribe, comment, and all the other things that you can do on that particular platform so we can spread the word and make a difference in people's lives and in our world. And for those who are present, we invite you to take your gift and your tithe, your love offering, and to give from the highest consciousness that you can, knowing that whatever we give out comes back to us in so many ways and also supports this community, who in turn supports other communities that are making a positive difference in people's lives. So with that, I invite us to affirm today's affirmation of abundance and prosperity. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God. Thank you, God.
You can fly. One shot to your heart without breaking the skin. No one has the power to hurt you like your king. Kept it inside, didn't tell no one else. Didn't even wanna admit it to yourself. And now your chest burns and your back aches from all of the years of holding the pain. And you only have yourself to blame if you continue to live this way. Get it together. You wanna heal your body. Get it together. You have to heal your heart. Whatsoever you sow, you will reap. Get it together. You can fly, 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 fly. Dark future ahead of me, that's what they said. I'd be starving if I ate all the lies they fed. 'Cause I've been redeemed from your anguish and pain. A miracle child, I'm floating on a cloud. 'Cause the words that come from your mouth, you're the first to hear. Speak words of beauty and you will be there. No matter what anybody says, what matters most is what you think of yourself. Get it together. You wanna heal your body. Get it together. You have to heal your heart, yeah. Whatsoever you sow, you will reap. Get it together. The choice is yours, no matter what it is. To choose life is to choose to forgive. You don't have to try and hurt them or break their pride. Just shake that weight off and you'll be ready to fly. One shot to your heart without breaking the skin. No one has the power to hurt you like your friends. Thought it would never change, but as time moved on, the ugly duckling turned out to be a swan. And now your chest burns and your side aches, because all the years are showing up on your face. But you'll never be happy, no, you'll never be whole, until you see the beauty in growing old. Get it together. You wanna heal your body. Get it together. You have to heal your heart, yeah. Whatsoever you sow, you will reap. Get it together. Get it together. You wanna heal your body. Get it together. You have to heal your heart. Whatsoever you sow, you will reap. Get it together. You can fly, 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 fly. You can live or you can die. Remember, life is a choice you make. You can give or you You can fly, 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 fly. 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 Get it together. Hey.
Getting it together with India Ari. Yes, thank you. Well, we bless the giving and the gifts from those who have given here or online, knowing they're going to bless the givers and the receivers for being in the flow of a principle that is unbreakable, that says that whatever you give comes back to you in so many different ways, in ways you've never imagined. So we bless those givings, we bless those offerings and those gifts as we go forward doing our work to make a difference in people's lives in our world. We also bless those who have left those prayers in the prayer box, knowing that we all have challenges that we go through in our life. And there is an answer to every challenge. And it's always answered on the level of spirit that may be beyond our human understanding, but it is answered. And so we affirm that answer. We declare it is so. As that statement says, before they call, I've already answered them. We also send out loving energy to Rama DeLong, whose mom, Barbara Spangler, passed away this past week. As she's gone on to her next assignment that Spirit has in store for her. And we send comforting energy to Robin and her family and all of those who happen to know Barbara, because she had an impact on all those who had an opportunity to cross our path. We send healing energy to Doug Hilton, who had an operation, and know that he is going through his healing, and the healing energy is moving through him now. And anyone else that we happen to know, we put them in that healing field at this very moment. We bless them. We know that the ultimate prognosis is with the presence and the power and the love of God, regardless of whatever the diagnosis may be by a doctor. So we go forth knowing that we're all surrounded by this presence as we do our work to anchor a little bit more of the ever-expanding good in our life and in our world. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. And with that, let us join together as we affirm our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, I am, and all is well. And with that, let us sing our peace song.